I needed a piloted extension drill to spot where I wanted to drill my little add-on blocks for the swing out turret wad guides. I was going to build a couple little bushings to fit in there so I could run a long drill bit down through just to mark that. What I've done instead is I've taken the size that I want to drill that hole, which fits through the bottom platen, which is a 9/32, and then I just took a piece of 3/8 rod to go on the top. So I'm just going to braze them together, and that will provide everything we need. So I figured I'd show that real quick. Just a little trick I've used for a few different things. That's all it takes. We'll set it up in the lathe, spin it, and make sure it runs true, and we'll clean up that end. Now, the amount of precision we'll get out of this, I think is going to be plenty for this application. We're going to stick it in the drill chuck, or in the lathe for the first time. We'll spin it and see how true it runs. And see, this will be run off of a portable drill. We're not going to have a whole lot of engagement on the shank up here, but it'll be piloted through this shaft. So how close are we? And there, that kind of gives you an indication of the run out we get. Is it super precision? No. Is it very well close enough for this job? It certainly is. This is going to work fine. So all I'm going to do is chuck it back up into the chuck closer. I'm going to turn down this end a little bit so we've got a smooth surface, or a same diameter surface approximately across where we brazed it up. We're going to clean that up so it'll fit down through, and then we'll go and mark the first one out. And there's our hole for where, our mark for where we want our hole drilled. Now what I'm going to do, since it's already set up, and I may not, if I took it off and clamped it in the vise, I might not get the bottom perfectly straight with this plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disassemble the top of this again. We'll take it back over to the mill, and we'll go ahead and drill this hole to whatever depth we need it to be in the diameter. Then we'll go back and machine out our slots here on the side, and we'll hand cut our ramp. Once that's done, I'll set it together, try it out with the swing out wad guide that I've got, and then I'll pull it apart. We'll epoxy it in place and seat everything in. That way we can contour the outer edges. What we've done here is we've put us a couple of spacers underneath, a couple of spacers underneath the edge of this casting to get it off, because we're going to drill all the way through and out the bottom of the main casting. We've got it relatively parallel to this edge. It doesn't have to be precision. I'm awful close. I had the dial indicator set up here and we're within a tenth. But it's not important in the aspect of the tolerances are loose enough on these machines anyway to reliably function that we're well within the spec. And as long as we're going to drill our hole through, then we'll do a cutout on this side to intersect the hole, and that will establish the depth of our ramp. And then we'll scribe a line across the top hole. We've got it set up here with the mill to establish 90 degrees to where this cut is. Then we'll hand cut our ramp up the side. As long as we've got 90 degrees of travel, that's all we're interested in. So it doesn't really matter what position the cutout on the ramp is, as long as they're 90 degrees, because that will be, the travel will be established where we position the wad guide. So we're set up and ready to drill this out. We may have to put a long drill bit in there, or a jobber length drill bit to get it to clear. I'm sure we're going to have to. Now you can establish your hole position any way you choose. This is plenty accurate for what I want to do here. We've established our hole position there. I'm going to go ahead and cut my slot on the ramp on the outside, and then I will probably set this shoulder back a little bit because it's a little bit long. We don't need to have it quite out that far. Alright, I think we're done machining here. I could remove more of this material, but I think we'll just leave it if we have to. If we want to remove it a little more quickly, why, we'll do it with a Dremel or a Fordham tool over on the bench. So I think we've got this to where we can pull it out. Let's take it over and take a look at it. Here's our casting. Here's our machining. Now what we've done, let's see if we can turn this. We've got our hole drilled all the way through the casting, went all the way down through. We cut a 3/16 slot in there with a ball end mill. Now this actually, from this whole edge, we only need about 3/16 of an inch of material. So I've got extra material here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, and we'll go ahead and mill that slot down, or mill that material off so we don't have to use it. It doesn't hurt anything by having it there, but it's that much more material to remove. So we'll go ahead and mill that off, and then we can adjust our radius. We won't have very much finish work to do to get our ramp up the side for that to pivot in. So I'll machine that, we'll get it back together. Actually, we're not going to put it back together, we're going to machine it. While we've got it off, we're going to lay it out and file out most of that material, and then we'll check fit on it. There's a little better view of it. We're going to take this material off to that 3/16 scribe line right there. I don't know if that's going to show up or not, but here's our little part machined off. Now, if we look at it in its proper position, from the outside, we ramp down approximately at a 45 degree, well, it's not a 45 degree angle because it's not that deep, but when you look at it from the outside, it's trimmed like that, but it's cut on a ramp, so it radiuses in. On the flat it looks fairly straight, but on the inside it ramps around. So we're just going to start hand contouring that, and it'll be a file and fit type of operation. So let's see what we can come up with here. And it should ramp just like that. Now this will still get a little more polish, and then I'm going to sandblast this stuff off, or at least bead blast it before I install it, just to kind of give it a little more finished look, I think. Let's put a little Sharpie on there and see where our contact is. This will wear in a little bit over time, but we want to get it pretty close to where it's supposed to be right now. We got a little wear right there. Tilt this up just a little bit more so I can see it a little bit better. I think we better do a little reassembly and a trial fit and see what that's going to look like. So let me go ahead and put this back together, and then we'll take a look at it again. Swing out wad guide. Now this is still final fitting. When you raise it up, wad guide swings into position, rotates out. Now when you're done at seated that wad, you'll bring it back down. It hits the cam here and rotates back around, out into position so you can load your next wad. Well, there it is. That's the way it's supposed to work. If you watch the wad guide here, you put your fresh wad in, swings into position, ready for the next one. So we got one more of these castings to do, and then the parts will be in this week. We'll finish this the wad guides up. Hopefully I can get the castings done, and those assemblies are ready to go. So that's one more thing done.